Maureen, tell us, why initially did you invest in nutrition coaching? What goal were you trying to reach?
I just actually mainly wanted to feel better, and I'm always wanting to lose weight. So it was another goal of mine. And I felt like I had food knowledge, but I guess I didn't always put it into practice to help me.
And with your weight loss goal, you had tried some other things before that were maybe successful, but for a short period of time. Nothing ever
Yes.
felt like it stuck, correct?
Yeah. I tried many things for many years. Probably couldn't even list all the things I've tried over the years. But mainly Weight Watchers was probably the one that I did the most and for the longest periods of time.
Now, when you were initially making that commitment, you had these big goals. Was there any fear or anxiety about investing in nutrition coaching? Were you afraid maybe that this wouldn't work like those other things?
I definitely have my doubts because, yeah, you're just on that trend of things not working. And so, and, going into it, even though, we had spoken and, I kind of knew, you know, how things would go, but until you're actually doing it, I wasn't sure how it would work.
Sure. Fear of failure. Everybody's afraid that, hey, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to try, but where's the guarantee, right?
Right.
So what did you use to get over that fear? Like, what did you tell yourself? Because here you are now 4 months into one-on-one coaching, you clearly made that commitment. What did you say to kind of talk yourself through that fear?
You know what? I just needed to, feel better. That was my biggest thing. Like, I was very, I felt I lacked energy all the time. I was always tired. And, as you get older, like, you have achy joints. So, I wanted to really see if I really committed to this, if that would help those things. And it obviously has helped tremendously. So, I saw within a few weeks, I started to see progress, and that was really helpful.
Incentivizing right away. And you are the perfect picture of someone who said, I want this and I'm going to commit to this. And you have seen amazing results. Can you tell us a little bit about, in the past 4 months, what you have seen physically, but also maybe what you've changed mentally with your understanding about your nutrition knowledge?
My weight loss is probably, number one, that I started to see like about 2 weeks in. Probably by week 3. In the beginning, I gained a little bit of weight because I increased my protein and I didn't really do anything else. That was my action step in the beginning. So it was probably about 3 weeks in when I first started to lose weight. And then I guess we did my measurements probably after the first month. And that was like very eye-opening because I lost a lot of inches initially. And I felt that in my body right away. But until I did my measurements, I didn't realize how much it was. My clothes within a month were looser on me. And then, I'm like probably down at least almost 2 sizes. I felt better in my clothes like within probably 3 to 4 weeks. The biggest thing for me that I just learned recently and I shared with you was that, I was feeling better. I was all the measures that you asked took a while to get the sleeping better, but I started to sleep better and just had more energy and felt so much better, over those next, like probably, the second month in, I started to really feel those things. And then I go to the doctor every 3 months, and I went to my doctor a couple of weeks ago to get my results. And that was like the biggest thing. So I was literally on, working with you for 3 months when I had the blood drawn. And my doctor was so excited over my results because every number that he tracks for me improved. I've been pre-diabetic for years now. Mm-hmm. So I was always in the range. And in recent years, like between, 6.2 and even up to at certain points, 6.5. So when I started on this journey, I had been at 6.5, which is considered actually diabetic. And when I had the blood done, it had gone down to 6.0. My bad cholesterol went down 63 points. And then my good cholesterol went up. He actually feels that the next time I get my blood drawn, that we might even be able to come off my cholesterol medicine. And so he was very excited about that. And my blood pressure was actually down to 105/70, which to me, that was like unbelievable. He also took this other number. I don't remember talking about this before. It's called a cardiac protein number. Mm-hmm. So anybody medical would know it. And I guess it gives you an idea if you're like going to be susceptible to heart issues in the future, heart attack, and it's supposed to be under 10. And mine, he said, was always typically high when he would do it, like close to 10. I don't even know, it could have been even over, and that went down to 2. So he was just so excited and so happy about it.
It's safe to say that you have pretty much changed the trajectory of your life in the span of 3 months, and your journey's not over, but you
Right.
have created change from the inside out.
Yes, definitely.
So that's all this
Yeah.
amazing physical change. You're
Yes.
down over 20 pounds, over 13 inches in just 4 short months. And that is great. Those outcomes are wonderful. People would be so envious of that. But it
Right.
started because we changed your relationship with food. So tell us how your mindset has changed over the course of these 3 months, and how maybe how you interact with food is different than how you interacted with it previously.
I know when I first came to you, I was saying that I consider myself a sugaraholic and a carbaholic, and that was always my go-to food. And typically I was just busy, super busy, and sometimes I'd be skipping this meal, or then I'd eat lunch, and then I'd come home. By the time I get home, I'd be starving. So I would just go to the cabinet, and whatever I would see the fastest, and typically it would be a cookie, or some kind of a snack food. And so by dinner time, I would be still starving, and I would eat my dinner and probably eat bigger portion because I hadn't eaten all day long. And then I'd always have to have dessert or snack before I went to bed at night. And we eat out a lot, and on the weekends we have a busy social life, so just not mindful of what I was eating is the biggest thing. I just would like eat and drink, whatever I really wanted to eat or drink. It didn't benefit me in any way. It just made me feel not good. I would overeat. If I had something on my plate, I would finish my plate. I just never thought about it. Except like when I was dieting, then I would think about it and probably overthink it, and always feeling deprived when I was dieting. It was a whole major ordeal to diet. If I knew I was starting a diet, I used to always say my thing was I would like load up before I started. So like I probably would gain 5 pounds before I started a diet, because then I would feel like then my weight loss initially would look better. Or
The Last Supper.
yes, exactly.
So how has this process been different from that deprivation-based diet, Mo? Because it was important for us to keep your social obligations, right? To allow meals out, and for the
Right.
occasional glass of wine and the sweet treat that you were being mindful of. We didn't want to cut those things out because that's
Right.
not sustainable. And yet you've seen such amazing success. So tell us how this feels different from that deprivation diet.
Okay, so the one thing, well, right away initially, you said just from my intake form and our discussions that I was probably protein deficient. I was not eating enough protein a day, so that was how we started. The first couple of weeks, I was just increasing my protein, and probably maybe not right away, but within maybe the second week, like I wasn't craving other things because I felt satisfied by increasing my protein. The next action step was to increase my vegetables, which I love vegetables, so I never felt like I was deficient in vegetables. But when I sat down and thought about it, like, yeah, 2 cups a day, wow, I guess I wasn't getting 2 cups a day, not on a consistent basis. After that step, like I started to not even crave. I started not craving at all, like sweet food or carbs. I just wasn't even craving it though after just taking those 2 simple steps. And the food prep was huge for me. If I had stuff available to me, that made it so much better.
Is it safe to say, Mo, that maybe things you've tried before were all about eating less and taking things out? And what I hear you saying is we added a lot more prep, a lot
Right,
more planning, but a lot more
right.
nutrient dense foods.
Definitely, without a doubt. Like that was probably the big thing. I always felt deprived on a diet. Like I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And like Weight Watchers, like I said, that I was on, like I hated to track. And I'd have the app on my phone, whatever I needed, and it used to be the book. And I just, the first couple of days I'd start out, it'd be great. And then after that, I would just, forget about it. And then, I'd eat things and not count it. But yeah, it always felt like it was a whole big ordeal, like going on a diet. that's a big change now with what I'm doing now, because I don't feel like I'm dieting. It's just, I'm changing the way I changed the way I do things. And I've done things for years now that didn't really get me anywhere. I've always felt like I needed to diet my whole life. So I was stuck in this weight for like 25 years. And like I told you, it was a range, a 15-pound range, more or less, but I couldn't get out of that 15-pound range no matter what I did. So,
I remember you told me you saw, what was it, like 12 pounds of success so far. And you were like, Nicole, I never get past this number. This is my sticking point. I never get under this number. And what happened?
And I got past that number. And that was a huge point for me. Once, if I could get past that number, like that was in my head, that was like huge to me. And I got past that number, which I hadn't done in 25 years. And now I'm 10 pounds below that number.
You blew the limiting belief out of the water.
Yes. That's been great. The whole thing's been, I highly recommend it.
Which honestly, you just answered my last question, Mo. My last question was, based on your experience, would you recommend something like one-on-one coaching as opposed to a prescriptive diet program to someone that you know that might be in a similar situation?
Oh, absolutely. I recommend it every day to numerous people. A lot of people haven't been noticing it, and everybody wants to know what you do. And, and I said, I'm working with a nutritionist, and, oh, wow. And then they have more questions about it. And, and I live in New York on Long Island. So I said, oh, my nutritionist lives in Pennsylvania. And they're like, how does that work? And I'm like, oh, we do it. It's all like online, and, we FaceTime, and like if anybody says they're not tech savvy, I'm the least tech savvy person in the world. I love the podcast. Podcasts are awesome. I figured out how to do podcasts and so many other things that I never would have thought I could ever do in my life. So anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody could do the tech part of it. So that's been awesome.
I love that. So not only are we making you tech savvy, but we're also graduating you from the terminology carbaholic and sugaraholic, because you're not those things anymore.
Yes, definitely not. So
I love it. Mo, you've made amazing progress. Thank you so much for sharing just a teeny piece of your journey with everyone. I have no doubt that you will inspire many, many women who feel the same way that you felt when you were starting, just stuck and like, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm just not sure there's anything out there that will work for me, because you are living proof.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.